Genesis chapter 26, introduction. Okay, in this chapter we see a connection between something that happened before. Actually a combination of things that happened before, not just one specific thing. Okay, there was a time that Abram went down with Sarah to Egypt, the reason being a famine. There was another time when Abram went down to the land of Philistines and to Abimelech, and it doesn't state the reason why, but as I stated that I believe it is because of what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And there is Abimelech. Okay, so there's the Egypt connection here because of the drought in the story, as we see in this chapter, and there is the same actors, or at least from the same nation, Abimelech, not the same people, understandably, because they would be either super old or long dead. So there is these connections. So you see, there's lots of connections between then and here. And the other connection, understandably, in both those cases, Abram had told Sarah to say, it's just my sister. Now, that was more of a truth than what Isaac is going to say here. Okay, it was a half-truth, because she's kind of his sister. Same father, different mother. It's a half-sister. While in this case, Rebecca is related to Isaac, but sure, not from the same father, right? Totally not. Okay, so there is then this difference, and he's going to do the same, but he's going to tell the same thing. It's just my sister. There are differences in the story in the sense in those places where then, like, God blessed Abram through the king, through Pharaoh, or through the king. They gave lots of things to him. Now in this case we don't see the king giving anything. Okay, we're just going to see how he is allowed to sow there, and then in the sowing, God is the one giving him. Okay, not the king's, God is the one giving him. Then we're going to see the whole story about the fighting over the wells, and that's a kind of a normal thing in drier places. That is a big thing. I remember as well, even as a child growing up in an area where water was kind of scarce. I mean, there's a river, Elephants River flowing through there, so in the Western Cape, right? But water rights, you got X amount of water, and I remember how people would go to other farmers who maybe wasn't so much into the farming or whatever, and try to buy some of their water rights so they could get more water so as to use the water for farming. Okay, so water is very important. It's of utmost importance. I think we all know that we can't survive without water. You can survive without food, but you can't survive without water. Okay, so then all these fights about this, because Isaac became too wealthy, became too strong, and so how Isaac would move away, further away, further away, further away, till at last they found a well where now they're not fighting about it. Okay, and then the final part is the oath taking, the swearing between Abimelech and Isaac. The same connection as well with chapter 20, where other Abimelech and Pichol came to Abram and they made a covenant with him. Just interesting, seemingly how fast they kind of forgotten about this. But I think when we get to the text, I will explain my reasoning why I don't think that I totally forgot it, or why Moses is bringing the story in and making this point again. And so yeah, at last they found peace, right? So there's peace for Isaac, but this chapter doesn't end on a good note. It ends on, again, getting back to the family problems. We've seen now so many times the problems in the family, right? From Esau and Jacob's birth, where in the womb they were fighting. Throughout the here and the now, right? When Jacob lied to his brother and sold his birthright, okay? Bought his birthright, or Esau sold his birthright to Jacob. So this fighting always go on, and then ultimately how this chapter ends with Esau marrying people not from his clan but locals. And the other thing is to understand, we see, is that Esau was the one who did this. He didn't wait for his father. His father was supposed to get a wife for him. His father didn't. So there's a dereliction of duty here as well. Although Isaac kind of said he loves, but sometimes we think that love means we just let the one we love do everything he wants. Kind of what maybe happened here, and we're going to see where all of this is going to lead.